Hello, every man, woman, child, transgender, or whatever you call yourself. So let's say your dream is to become a successful writer, director, or actor, but you suck at making a character. That's where I step in and teach you how to interpret that person in a way that will be remembered, liked, or liked to hate. First off are the basics. Whenever you make up a character, you just gotta give this person a reason to be themselves. Why is that the way they do the things they do? I'll be covering the categories over to my right. And if you notice that I am missing any, feel free to leave a comment down below. And maybe I'll make another video about it. Let's start off with the underdogs. Who doesn't love a main protagonist that learns to take a hit and keep going? When making an underdog, the main idea is to just have them take all the beating life can give them. Whether it be physically or indirect, they go through every odd stacked against them and they come out standing true to their victory. Such heroes I can think of are Rocky Balboa from the Rocky movies and Spider-Man. But there are some underdogs that you might not be so fond of, such as Newt from Fantastic Beasts. Newt is an interesting character because many people hate him for being a antisocial, not so direct and brave hero. Personally, Newt, I like him because unique, but the main idea with him is it doesn't matter what other people think about him. All he cares about is doing what he thinks is right. Next category, the gods. When I say the gods, I mean someone who has more authority or power over anyone else that they can think of. I can narrow down the gods into two sections. One being the Superman. Superman is the most overpowered comic book character to ever exist, as I know. But with all this power, he holds back a lot, to the point where you think he's just a weakling. It is that mental barrier where he holds back to the point where you cannot tell the difference between a weakling and a god, even if they are the same person. The other is the overpowered man, aka One Punch Man, aka Saitama from One Punch Man. The way he is he acts like a normal person. He's just an average guy, but he is ridiculously strong. And probably the strongest in his universe. So the way he is just for fun and to make a living out of. So when you're making the one punch type, I guess you would call it, try to make the character lazy and laid back. But when push comes to shove, they hardly have to do anything. Next, the comedic reliefs. The comedic reliefs are so easy to just be annoying and stupid. But when you do it right, you can make a character that is hilarious to the point where you don't even care what the protagonist or main story is. All you want to do is see this person. The way I can think of it is make a real person who makes jokes, is clumsy, or a hopeless person that others learn to deal or live with. The main idea is to just make a funny guy. but that can be interpreted into annoying dependent on whose perspective it is. The romantic movies, they pretty much have a cookie cutter outline for each story. It's very simple to follow. Just give a protagonist a journey and have a lover to be within that journey that they sacrifice to be with them, or to they can get that dream while also getting the character that they fall in love with. Off to another topic, horror movies. The psychopaths. The psychopath is always the smartest person in the room. Whether they look like it, act like they don't know anything, but that's the idea about it. You don't know what they're going to do. By making a psychopath, make them do the unexpected. Horror movie monster. There's generally two kinds of monsters. The one monster, which is part man, such as the Wolfman or vampire. Mental breakdown of the character for what is morally right and what they want to do. The next is the animal monster, which, kind of like the Wolfman, is just a creature who has a few things in mind and just wants to hunt, feed, or just hunting out of sick pleasure. The next category, the psycho killers. One good example is Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th franchise. His intentions are out of revenge for his mother. Another example is Freddy Krueger. When he kills, he does it out of his own sick pleasure. And for that idea, just have a killer who is doing their own thing for their own purpose. Whether that purpose is long gone or still within their grasp. The next character, the last soldier. A character who goes through the toughest trials just to reach the end of their journey, whether that be their death or their freedom. You may know such characters such as Rambo. In the movie Rambo, he goes through some PTSD kind of flashbacks when he's being mistreated in Canada. And so, within his story, he goes through the same tear-gripping torture he went through in the first place. But within the end of the movie, he is forgiven, found a certain freedom in knowing what he has done has found an end. Another character is Vin Diesel's Riddick from Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick. The character Riddick is like a soldier. He is a criminal, but he acts and thinks out of his own instincts. But by the end of his story, he finds a moral freedom of a good nature. But in another movie, he finds a wealth that he had to morally give up something in return. Next, the antagonists. A person or object that is just opposing to the protagonist. And to make a good villain or antagonist is to just have them be directly in the way of the protagonist. A man who plays a good antagonist is Christoph Waltz in almost every single one of his movies. And in there, he is in it for his own personal gain or moral compass. And that goes for characters like Darth Vader, who believes in his twisted moral compass that what he's doing is right and is therefore against the main protagonist. But what really sticks out is to have a antagonist who you just hate, whether through some horrible, horrific action or just their nuisance to the last, the mentor. When making the mentor, they don't necessarily have to be an old wise man. They just have to be an experienced person. In a way, you can have them as an older version of the protagonist who has gone through their same way and they have either come out on top or have fallen flat on their face. So when making a character, ask yourself these 3 questions. Who are they truly? What tiny details do they have? And how do they accomplish their true ambitions? And completing these questions to the fullest, you have a character that will not be forgotten anytime soon.